Hello, my name is Beyer, and I'm an engagement director with Valiantys. Today's presentation is about modernizing the software development lifecycle and the art of the possible. This is the agenda for the presentation. In the next 15-20 minutes, we're going to explore what a modern AI-powered software development lifecycle can look like and leave you with some concrete next steps. Another transformation. Ugh. The word transformation often raises eyebrows in the business world, and for good reason. Whether we're talking about an agile transformation, a digital transformation, or a cultural transformation, the reality is that the term is usually met with skepticism, and that's justified. While the exact statistics vary, the general consensus is that the majority of transformation initiatives fall short. McKinsey and Company estimates that over 70% of transformations fail. That's a staggering statistic. There are many theories for why, but the end result is dissatisfied employees. They're the ones who have to navigate the changes and deal with the aftermath. But does that mean we should avoid transformation? Absolutely not. What it does mean is that we must clearly understand the value proposition, the reasons why, and the outcomes we're trying to achieve. Without this, any transformation is dead on arrival. Usually a tipping point is necessary before that value proposition can be clearly articulated. And that's why we're here. Organizations of all sizes are under increasing pressure to innovate quickly. They're trying to implement the right tools and AI strategies while also keeping a lid on costs and maximizing the ROI. This is easier said than done. From this slide, we see some common roadblocks. Maybe there's no clear strategy or roadmap for how technology should evolve. Or your teams are struggling with data silos and disparate systems that make it nearly impossible to coordinate. Perhaps it's a lack of alignment between business processes and tooling, or a backlog of technical debt that never seems to shrink. Then you've got real-world limitations like budget constraints, talent shortages, supplier lock-in, or even poor user adoption of the tools that you already have. These aren't abstract issues. These are the things that stall progress and kill momentum, and that's why we're here, to look these challenges in the eye, align on the outcomes we want, and build a transformation strategy that actually works, not just on paper, but in practice. So what is our North Star? We want to have a continuous flow of information and value throughout the life cycle of development, from ideation all the way through deployment, support, and learning. To facilitate the most effective flow of value, we want to have Atlassian intelligence and thoughtfully designed automations to drive that value from team to team and from tool to tool without interruption or loss of quality. This is no longer a fantasy. The technological disruptors in the past were railways, steel industry, mass production, and even the software in the digital age. But they won't be the key differentiators going forward. We have entered the new disruptive era of AI, and the Atlassian supported system of work is enabling us to make it real in our organization. And so we've reached our tipping point for transformation. This is our opportunity to make the most of it. Perhaps the most important aspect of any transformation is establishing how it will be governed. The flow of information, the work and data, they're shaped and supported through effective governance. The elements of good governance are not a mystery, but they are often overlooked in favor of expediency. However, without them, the rush to a solution leads to a poor solution. Team members become dissatisfied, administrators and process leaders become frustrated, and ultimately the transformation fails. Once you've reached that tipping point, make the most of it. Lay the proper foundations of good governance, taking into account the three pillars: people, processes, and tools. The system of work decisions need to be made by representatives across the organization, giving a good cross-section of roles and responsibilities in how they interact with those processes and tools. If governance is only performed by the admins or by the agile methodology experts, the requirements that are unique for your organization will not be satisfied. They need to incorporate intentional change management into their design making, into their rollout, the enablement, and the support. They need to apply systems thinking, considering all aspects of the system, including the interconnections, dependencies, and broader environment. While individuals may naturally focus on the isolated parts or silos they represent, a representative board strives to optimize for the organization as a whole. This results in a more resilient, efficient, and sustainable system. And most importantly, there is a clear prioritization. The most successful governance allows the culture and the way people interact to drive the processes, not the other way around. Similarly, the processes should drive the tool solutions. If a tool solution is the primary reason for implementing a process, the prioritization within the governance model is failing. We often see teams jump to tools before aligning the people in the process. Governance brings discipline to decision-making across all three. The tipping point for transformation can be reached in various ways, such as competition changes, or new technology advancements like AI, or even external events like COVID. Another common tipping point comes from acquisitions and mergers. When multiple independent companies come together, the diversity of their cultures, process, and tools can cause numerous issues and daily frustrations for both employees and leadership. When these frustrations lead to attrition, delays, and customer dissatisfaction, the tipping point hits the proverbial fan. This is exactly what happened for Tempo Software. Building out a comprehensive SPM solution, they had several acquisitions, bringing together Tempo, ALM Works, RoadMonk, and several others. These positioned Tempo to provide a streamlined SPM solution, but to deliver this solution effectively, their leadership recognized the need to unify their organization with a cohesive operating model. The Tempo ways of working was born as a rallying cry for their transformation. At Tempo, we focused on building up a representative ways of working governance team, and their charter was to build a common understanding of the processes for the product development lifecycle. There are many techniques for documenting and optimizing processes like value stream mapping and business process mapping. However, both of these have a built-in assumption that there is a common process already in practice by each of the acquired companies. When multiple organizations are brought together, they need to identify the future state process that they all can support and follow. So to do this, a process mapping exercise was performed to define and elaborate the future state. Leadership supported this in meaningful ways, providing budget and time for a full workshop with all of the roles and product areas fully represented. And the VPs didn't just talk the talk, they walked the walk, fully participating without dictating the outcomes. Following the workshop, we documented the process map, built out the backlog, and prioritized the implementation. And then we incrementally delivered on the enablement and change management that was needed to support the organization to onboard to the new ways of working. A year later, and the results are clear. They have visibility and transparency across the organization for priorities, goals, execution, and deployment. The chaos has been replaced by alignment and faster delivery of value to the market. Here are just some examples of how the Atlassian tools, automation, and AI are helping teams to accelerate the flow of information and value through the software development lifecycle. In the ideate phase, tools like Jira Product Discovery and Atlassian Intelligence can help product leaders cluster and refine idea submissions. This reduces the noise and helps them zero in on what really matters without spending days manually sorting and prioritizing. During the plan phase, you can take outputs from a whiteboarding session in Confluence and quickly convert them into a structured Jira backlog with effort estimates already baked in. That's a huge time saver and ensures nothing gets lost in translation from ideation to planning. When it's time to build, Atlassian Intelligence and the Teamwork Graph can suggest improvements to your work scope or acceptance criteria, and it bases it on patterns from similar teams or past efforts. This not only speeds up backlog grooming, but also improves consistency across all of the teams. In the test phase, you can enforce test definitions and automate repetitive QA steps using the Jira automation. That cuts down on human error and saves time on redundant tasks. Even post-deployment, in the operate and learn phases, tools like reporting dashboards and Confluence retrospectives help teams track performance trends and feed those insights back into the process to drive continuous improvement. All of these capabilities are designed to eliminate friction, reduce handoff delays, and ensure teams can focus on delivering value, not on chasing down information or cleaning up messes. So if we were talking in person, face to face, I would encourage you to take on this exercise to get your imagination in gear. So feel free to hear the instructions and then pause this and take the exercise on your own. What I'd like you to do is pair up with a colleague and set the timer for 5 minutes. Use that time wisely. What I want you to do is to identify a current SDLC pain point, and then brainstorm an Atlassian AI or automation to address it. And you don't have to know the specifics of how this would be implemented. Just think about what could be possible and let experts figure it out how to implement it for you. And then after, let me know what ideas you came up with. Go ahead and shoot me an email, and I would love to hear about them. Modernizing the software development lifecycle isn't just about adopting new tools or chasing the latest trends. It's about unlocking the full potential of your teams. It's about replacing silos with collaboration, gut feel with data-driven insight, and manual effort with intelligent automation. It's about creating an environment where ideas flow faster, decision-making is clearer, and outcomes are consistently better. Yes, transformation can be hard, but staying still is harder. The organizations that will lead tomorrow are the ones willing to evolve today, intentionally, strategically, and with a relentless focus on delivering value. So let's build smarter, let's move faster, and let's do it together. Thank you very much for following this presentation, and feel free to reach out and send me any questions or comments